Welcome back, everyone, to Season 3, Episode 16 of the Inside the Woods podcast. I'm your host, Mike Coughlin. It's been a while. I hope you've all had nice holidays. In case you forgot, this Valley News Show has been giving you an inside look at Dartmouth Big Green Athletics. In our first show of 2026, we're going to check in on the men's hockey team.
And this one is over as the Bobcats defeat the Dartmouth Big Green. They take down the first place team in the ECAC with a 5-3 win.
That's how it sounded on the ESPN Plus broadcast as the Big Green dropped their second straight game in 4th and 5 contests when it fell to Quinnipiac on Saturday 5-3 on the road. CJ Foley, Tim Bisconi, and Joshua Shank scored for Dartmouth in the loss. During this stretch, the Big Green, who are now ranked 11th in the nation at 12-4 overall and 6-2 in the ECAC, have also suffered losses to New Hampshire, Arizona State, and Princeton. On this week's show, I have sophomore forward Hank Cleaves, who is tied for the lead in assists on the Big Green with 11 and is second on the team in points with 18, to talk about his rise as a member of the Big Green and how the team is feeling at this juncture. I also spoke with head coach Reid Cashman to get his thoughts on his team's recent stumble as they prepare to face off with the Harvard Crimson at Thompson Arena on Friday at 7 p.m. Now, with introductions out of the way, let's get to the rest of the show. Now joining me on the show is sophomore forward Hank Cleaves, who is ranked 26th in the nation in points per game, averaging over 1 per contest. Hi, Hank. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, hey, Mike. Thanks for having me.
So, your offensive production so far this season has been impressive. Notably, you have nearly matched your total number of points from last season, which was 21 in just 16 games so far. What do you think has been the biggest key for you to have been able to make this sort of offensive jump?
Yeah, I think obviously coming back, being a returner, knowing how hard it is and how hard it is to score in the league like that we play in the ECAC. I think that experience helped me a lot, and obviously I'm put in good situations to go out and score, and I'm kind of responsible for kind of helping do that, and along with my teammates and the team success that we're having, it makes it pretty easy on myself. So like guys like Hayden Stavroff and Cam McDonald, my 2 line mates, and then the rest of the team, well, they have a really good shift before me, and then I get to go out and have an ozone face-off, make it pretty easy on me. So I think that's been a big part of it.
Right, and, the team started this season on a historic pace. After beating Army on December 12th, you guys were 11-0, a start that hasn't been seen in the program since the 1940s. However, since that win over Army, you guys have lost 4 out of 5. How would you characterize the vibe or feeling around the team as you all attempt to kind of turn this, recent skid around?
Yeah, obviously we had a pretty good start there to the year. And, we've gone through a little bit of adversity here now, but I think it's going to help us in the long run, and we want to be our best. We want to be the best team we can be come playoffs when that time is. So I know we weren't going to go undefeated, so this adversity is going to be good for us. And, we talk a lot about holding ourselves to the highest possible standard and holding our teammates that same standard. So we're just we're still confident in ourselves, and we're going to keep going here.
Right, and on tap this week is a matchup with Harvard at Thompson Arena. The Crimson are a team you had success against last February, in which you notched 3 assists, which was the most you had in a single game last season. What can fans expect from you and the rest of the team as you guys prepare to take on a conference rival in Harvard?
Yeah, it's obviously a massive game, Ivy League and ECAC, so a lot on the line there, and obviously playing home at Thompson, which is great in front of our perfect fans, so that'll be a lot of fun. So we're just going to look to play our game and have some success.
Right, and finally, when we have student athletes on the show, we like to ask about their academics and, time at the college so far. So I was wondering if you could tell our audience a little bit about what you're studying and a little bit about how you've enjoyed being up in Hanover.
Yeah, I've loved my time up here in Hanover, even away from the rink too, like you said, in the classroom. Been taking a lot of government classes, and a couple economics classes towards my major, so going to continue doing that.
All right, well, perfect. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Hank. I really appreciate it, and I wish you luck on Friday.
All right, thank you so much, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Before we hear from Reid, let's go inside the numbers on the men's hockey team's next matchup with Harvard. Like the Big Green, the Crimson enter Friday's contest losers of 2 straight to Quinnipiac and Princeton. Harvard, who has a 7-5-1 record overall, has been a bit of a mixed bag on paper. Notably, the Crimson had a strong showing against the number 1 ranked team in the country in Michigan at the end of November, taking it to overtime before falling 4-3. But they also got smoked by Quinnipiac, another top 10 ranked team, 9-1 last Friday. So it might be difficult to expect which Harvard comes to play against the Big Green. The Big Green, who boasts the third-ranked scoring offense in the nation, averaging 4 goals per game, and the third-ranked scoring defense, allowing just 2 goals per game, would seem poised to cruise to a win over Harvard, who has the 39th-ranked scoring defense, allowing 3 goals per game, and the 25th-ranked scoring offense, averaging 3 goals per game. However, as anyone who follows sports knows, numbers only tell part of the story. Historically speaking, Friday's game could be a close one, as the last 4 matchups between the two squads have either been decided by 1 goal or gone to a shootout. The Big Green have won the latest 2 matchups between the teams, which occurred last season in regulation, while the Crimson won the 2023-2024 season matchups in shootouts. Harvard has not defeated Dartmouth in regulation since the 2022-2023 season. Now, with all that said, let's hear from Reid to get his thoughts. Now with me on the show is men's hockey coach Reid Cashman. The Big Green, which are ranked 11th nationally, have lost 4 of their last 5 games after a scorching hot 11-0 start to the season, most recently dropping 2 games in a row on the road over the weekend to Princeton and number 10 Quinnipiac. Hi, Reid. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know, I mentioned it in the intro. The team has hit, kind of a tough stretch after a hot start to the season. You guys were able to take advantage of a favorable schedule early to begin the year. How would you characterize what has gone on during the 5-game run where you've dropped 4 of 5?
Yeah, I guess I'd push back on you that we had a favorable schedule to start. I think we were played some pretty good hockey, and then I guess it's all how you view it. We split the weekend with Army and UNH. We beat Army, we lose to UNH. We split the weekend with Arizona State, right? We lose the first one, we beat the second one, an NCHC team. And the last weekend we lose 2 on the road, which was probably the toughest road trip in our league, just with travel to Princeton and Quinnipiac. And, we had a third period lead versus Princeton. We were tied in the third versus Quinnipiac. So really disappointed with the third periods, and to not get any points on the road is frustrating. But I don't know. I don't view it as, hey, lost 4 out of 5 and the ship is sinking here. We've had some tough games and they've been close games, and we're gonna have more of those moving forward. So lots of lessons to come out of it, and still think we're in a really good spot. Obviously, an important game for a lot of reasons. Friday night versus Harvard.
Right, and you mentioned it in talking about the last 2 contests on the road against Princeton and Quinnipiac. Your team was able to take leads during different portions of the game, but was not able to hold onto them. The Big Green ended up surrendering, 5 goals in both of these games. But, obviously, like you mentioned, these are tough road venues against quality conference opponents. What do you want the team to take away from those kind of setbacks or, losses?
Yeah, I just think that, both of those 2 teams right now are in the top 12, I think, in the MPI in the country. And I just think the margin of error gets thin the second half of the year here. And our desire was there. We were emotionally invested in the games, and we just lack some detail in key moments. And I think we've been a really good third period team for most of the year. So just how important it is to finish out every game. And then, because we've had a good start, our opponents are pretty focused to play us, and that we need to be even better because of that. And those are tough lessons to learn, but sometimes you're going to have to lose some to learn those tough lessons.
Right, and you kind of referenced it, but sticking with your last game against Quinnipiac, going into the matchup, it was a battle between 2 top 10 ranked teams in the country. The Bobcats are among multiple ranked teams in you guys' conference. how would you evaluate the state of the conference in general, and where do you think it kind of stacks up against others like the Hockey East, the Big Ten, and others?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, traditionally we're one of the top four. I think last year we took a little bit of a step back, and this year it seems like we've taken a really big step forward. I think if you look at our record versus Hockey East, I'm pretty sure we're above 500. You look at the teams that are ranked, the four Ivies with us, Princeton, Harvard, and Cornell are all having really good years. Quinnipiac continues to have a really strong year. We've done well, both Dartmouth and then our league has done really well in the non-conference. And so, a down year, we only send one or two teams to the NCAA tournament, and a really, really good year, we send four. And hopefully we're kind of in that three teams, kind of average three teams. And it sure seems like we should be able to get three teams this year in the NCAA tournament, maybe even four. We're going to have to, some of us are going to have to keep winning here, but I think it's as strong as it's been in quite a while. So it's exciting, but it also sure makes every weekend tough.
Right, and moving to later this week on Friday, you'll have the opportunity to put a stop to the 2-game losing skid when you host Harvard. What has stuck out to you about the Crimson and you and your staff's review of them leading up to the contest?
Yeah, just the talent that they have on the ice, just the ability to, whether it's their defensemen or their forwards, the ability that they have to make plays when they have time and space. They're as dangerous as anybody. Arizona State was a great transition team, and Quinnipiac is a really, really good transition team. And I put Harvard right with those two teams, and so it's going to be really important not to turn pucks over and have numbers back. And because I don't even know what they have for draft picks, 13, 14, 15, and so there's just a ton of talent on that roster that, like I said, given time and space, can make plays, and it's going to be our job to take away time and space.
Right, and finally, classes are back in session and students are back on campus. What element does it add to a college home game if you can have a crowded, boisterous student section, and do you think it gives the boys a bit more juice, to play in front of their peers?
Yeah, of course. That's what college athletics is all about, is when the student section's there, the band is there, and all that. We've had the Upper Valley has been awesome towards us this year, and we've had a lot of home games this last little while our students have been on break, and the town is really supporting us, and we're so appreciative of that. So we're excited to continue to have that town support and then add the students to the mix, because Thompson is a really special place when both the community and the students show up.
Well, as always, Coach, thanks very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, and good luck on Friday.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And that was Season 3, Episode 16 of the Inside the Woods podcast. As always, thanks for listening. We'll catch you again next week to talk some more Big Green athletics.